What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Tech and Tactical. We're going to do another quick look today. This is a knife that I just got, I want to say yesterday, on a trade. So I traded two of my other knives to get this one. Why did I do this? Probably because of all the hype. The r.a.t Model 1, is considered kind of the go-to for budget or semi-budget, daily driver, everyday carry folders, and then they go and they release the knife in D2. There it is, D2. So I had to get my hands on one. Now this, this is just the quick look, but this review should be pretty interesting. I've never owned a knife in D2 before. I've heard all the hype on D2, that's going around the internet. I guess the concern with D2 is that it's more prone to rust than a lot of these other steels that we've seen come from other knife companies. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out as far as rust. What I'm gonna do is I'm not really gonna oil the blade all that often. I'm just going to keep it clean. I wipe it down after I use it. And we'll keep a close eye on it to see if it rusts. Now, we are in Washington, D.C. I do most of my camping and outdoor stuff in Maryland, some in Virginia. So basically, this is a mid-Atlantic knife. We are not in a rainforest. So I'm sure that would, make a difference. But I'm also not in a dry climate, all that dry of a climate either. During the summer, it's very humid here most of the summer. So this will be a good test to see how this one goes. But here we go. We got the r.a.t Model 1 in D2 steel. It did come very well oiled or greased because of the steel. This blade came greasier than any blade I've ever received. And again, that's probably a good thing because of the material of the blade. So let's do, just like I said, from now on we're going to start with some specs. Actually, before we do specs, let's look at the box here. So this is the box they come in. There's not a whole lot going on here. You've got some cautionary, the front and the back, just a little info, something about the warranty, something about the company, some information about the company. And then they've got the model right here, and they've got like a little barcode thing. So that's it. I mean, the knife came in the box. I think there was like a bubble wrap. Yeah, but that's it. There's no book. This is how it came. So, that's not a big deal. And honestly, I'm one of these people. I'm not real big on extra trash and plastic, so I do kind of like that it just came in a recyclable paper box. This is fine with me. I mean, it's nice to get a little booklet with it or whatever, but it's not really critical. So that's what came with it. So here we go, star of the show, r.a.t Model 1. This is the big one. This is not the Model 2. So this, is the full size. If you've been watching my channel, I like these full-size, bigger folder knives. I don't like these 2.5-inch blade, little 3-inch handle knives. I like something that fills my hand and that I've got a decent cutting edge to work with. 3.5 inches is kind of the blade length that I gravitate towards. So this is the right r.a.t for me. The r.a.t 2 is a bit smaller. I'm going to probably have to buy one just to have it, but I don't know that this is the one that I think is the better size for me. So let's do some specs. Overall length, 8.5 inches. So it is full size folder in that regard. The blade thickness is 0.115 inches. The blade length is 3.5 inches. So this is my kind of favorite size. This is a 3.5-inch blade. So, that's kind of the size that I like. Closed length, 5 inches. And they're saying it is a thumb stud deployment, of course. You know, there's no flipper tab on this one, you know, so it would be the thumb studs that you would use to deploy. And I'll get into that here in a minute. And pocket clip configuration. This is really great. It's all four ways. So right or left tip up, and then right or left tip down. And it came, you can see right there, right on those little holes, that it came tip down, and I moved it over to tip up. And you're probably, if you haven't seen many of my videos, you're probably wondering why it's on that side. I like to carry my knife on my belt, so when I pull it off, I can deploy it like that. And this one does deploy very nicely. It is a nylon, looks like fiberglass filled nylon, fiberglass reinforced nylon handles, so it's FRN. They really do look and feel like G10, which is nice. You know, G10 is kind of like the better, you know, it may be tied with micarta for maybe the best type of handle scales. So it is a really kind of a nice grippy material, but it isn't G10. Blade finish is satin. That's my favorite blade finish, is that satin look. So I do like that. Blade grind, full flat taper. So this thing does not, you know, you can see it's a full flat grind from bottom to top. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not sure how the Lansky is going to hold it perfectly level if there's no, you know, blade stock up here. It's just a full flat grind from top to bottom. So I don't know. I mean, it's good for slicing. You know, this is a really good blade shape for slicing. So, you know, I don't know. You can't have everything, right? So this is good at slicing. It's a good blade shape, I guess, but it's not all that pretty, and it's not, I mean, it could end up being difficult to sharpen depending on your method of sharpening. If you don't use a fixed angle sharpener like the Lansky, like I do, you might not have any problem sharpening this. It really just depends on how you sharpen. And then it is a liner lock, so you can see the liner in the knife slides over when the knife is deployed, and you know, pops over. You got some good coverage there, and it looks like they're both phosphor or bronze washers. There doesn't appear to be a nylon or Teflon. I've seen people take these apart before. I could have sworn there was a Teflon in there, but I'm looking right now, and they're both bronze washers. And something else real cool, it's going to be hard to see. When you first press it down and click it over, it won't go because there's this little nub in there. You see that little nub? And then you keep pressing and it'll slide on the nub there. And the reason that's cool is because it gives this blade great action coming out of the knife, because it's only rubbing up against the nub and not the whole flat liner part. So I like it. I mean, it definitely is a nice smooth deployment because of that little notch or nub or whatever you want to call it. As of right now, I'm not seeing this model with D2 on their website. Maybe I'm just having trouble finding it, but I'm seeing everything I'm seeing on the website has the AUS-8 blade steel, which I do not like. You know, the reason I bought this in the first place is because of the D2. I've been wanting to get a knife with D2 steel. So, you know, when I saw this one and I had my eye on the r.a.t previously, I thought to myself, I got to try this out with the D2 steel. So, as I said, this is just a quick look. This knife is new. I have not done a whole lot of work with this knife yet. You know, this knife has cut 3 boxes, and I think that's it. I cut open a couple boxes with it. I have not really put this knife through its paces. So this is just a quick look, you know, one of my quick looks. You can see right there, it says Taiwan. You know, so this is one of the overseas knives. This knife is about $40 online. $38 to like $42 online. So Really good value, certainly good value for D2 steel, but I'm not one of these people online touting about how great D2 steel is because I've never used it for anything. I've never had D2 steel on anything. I'm not afraid to say it. You know, I try to be honest. I try to be honest on this channel. I've never used D2 steel in my life. I mean, maybe some tool that I had was using D2 steel because I guess D2 is a tool steel. So I may have used it without knowing, but I've never I've never knowingly used D2 steel. So I don't know what's going to happen here. It does, from the tests, seem to retain an edge better than r.a.t. So that's good. But I don't, with this whole rust issue, if this blade's covered in rust in a year, how useful is it? So, as I said, we'll do some outdoor work. I'm actually going back into the woods on Thursday. I'm uploading this on a Tuesday. So in 2 days, I'm going to go back out in the woods, and this is the knife I'm going to take with me. I'm probably going to take my Becker BK7, of course, for the heavy-duty stuff. For big log splitting, batoning, firecraft. I don't use a hatchet most of the time. I use a saw and a large knife to process firewood. So this will be on my side during that, I call it a sidearm. So this will be my sidearm for the fire build on Thursday night in 2 days. So you should get another video on Friday, in about 3 days with kind of a little update to see how I think of it so far. The one thing I will say, this is a very stiff liner lock. You really got to give it a lot of, pressure. It's pretty straight blade too. You got to, it opens really nicely, but you really got to press down to get this liner out of the way. I'm assuming that's going to break in over time. So, that's good. I do like that it has the 3 screw pocket clip because I am brutal on pocket clips. So this does seem to be a nice pocket clip. Good retention. Yep, there is my new knife. The r.a.t, the Ontario Knife Company r.a.t 1 in D2 steel. They call it the r.a.t. This is just one last quick tidbit before I let you go. They call it r.a.t because it's Randall's Adventure Training, I believe. I'm trying to actually find it right now. But, this is... Oh, it might even be on here. No, it isn't on here. So, it's an acronym. It's not a rat because it looks like a rat or something. So, anyway, thanks for stopping by again. Please like and subscribe and keep an eye out for the review on this guy because I am going to put this thing through its paces. We're going to see how D2 steel holds up. So, thanks again.